Welcome back to the Filmaholic. This is the happy hour episode that we do every Friday. We give you weekly movie news, TV news, all aspects of the industry that has some news that's coming out. So to start things off, well, we actually have a good little list here of topics. I felt like I was going to have to milk it this week, but we got some good ones here. So to kick things off is one that you sent me this morning, so I want to go ahead and talk about that. It's with Martin Scorsese. We knew that his next film was going to be with DiCaprio. It was also DiCaprio's next film, and Robert De Niro was going to be in it as well. I know DiCaprio talked about it on his interview not too long ago when he did the ArcLight screening at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He talked about who his next film would be with Scorsese. And then they were supposed to start shooting late in spring, which obviously that's not going to happen now. Hopefully they start filming by the end of the year. But then we have this news here. Scorsese is in talks with Apple and Netflix to produce Killers of the Moon. I thought it was Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, thought so.
But because the budget is now over $200 million. DiCaprio and De Niro will star in the film. The film centers on a Native American tribe in the 1920s whose murders sparked a major investigation. Which I think involves maybe J. Edgar Hoover as well. I want to say that.
Maybe. He was big in the 30s, though.
I want to say DiCaprio mentioned him when he was talking about it at that ArcLight screening. So I don't know who originally was supposed to make this film. I know it wasn't Netflix because I remember thinking, okay, so he's not doing his next film for Netflix. He's going back to the studio system. He's going to put it in theaters. But now he's... Right. This budget is crazy.
I don't understand.
Now, I know Scorsese is a huge director, one of the most iconic directors of all time. Some people would put him on that Rushmore of best directors.
But even so, your movie isn't making that much money, though.
It's not, and this is the problem.
That's what he's known for.
And, he's in talks with Apple and Netflix. I don't know. I haven't watched any of Apple's products yet, as far as, their shows. If they put the movie out yet?
The Banker. It was playing around here, but I didn't get to see it before everything crashed.
Okay. So, as far as this article goes, sure, that's a good idea for him to talk to them. I don't, especially if he's going to have these outrageous budgets, yeah, he might as well stick to Netflix and milk them and try to get them to do whatever they'll do for him, because a studio is not going to give him that amount of money, and I wouldn't as a studio.
I'm looking at Endgame. It had a budget of $356 million.
And look at the effects. Look at the huge cast in that film, the effects, all of that, and look how much money that ended up making for them. And
it's a summer action movie.
Yeah,
it's not a biopic drama, whatever.
Now this is going to be an Oscar push for sure. But so was The Irishman, and that didn't win any Oscars.
Nope.
And it shouldn't have. You liked it definitely more than I did, which I did like it a lot. I gave it 4 stars.
Part of mine was the experience too, is what bumped it up.
Which you saw in theaters, which majority of people didn't see because it was a Netflix film, like this would be. And what I'm surprised with this, and I'm curious to see if it ends up happening because we haven't seen it done before, is will DiCaprio stay with the project if it goes to Netflix?
I don't know, because I would choose Netflix over Apple anyway, because more people have Netflix.
So is it separate discussions, or is he trying to work with both studios?
From the article, I got the idea that I guess Netflix wasn't having it.
Okay. See, I didn't read the article. You just sent me this, and I screen capped it from this tweet. So I wasn't sure. It just says Apple and Netflix. So I thought that he was they were going to do different parts of putting the film out there. It'd be on Net. I don't know. Well, that doesn't make sense because they both have streaming services.
Yeah, it wasn't an actual. It wasn't really an article. It was just that tweet. But I was wondering, if you're talking with both, I can't imagine both of them agreeing to have it streaming on theirs at the same time.
Yeah, that's an aspect I didn't think of.
So if you're talking to both, it's seemingly like Netflix has kind of already shut you down.
I don't know. I'm curious because DiCaprio, he's my third favorite actor, but I think he's the best actor alive right now.
Best actor working.
He's retired, dude.
He's alive. I understand.
And
Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't know what that factor is. Like, oh, I don't want to make a Netflix movie. I don't understand.
maybe it's not a thing. Maybe he will do it.
He
But
doesn't have a Netflix account then.
But he is very selective over what he does. We've seen that with his past few movies, and after The Revenant, when he won an Oscar for, he didn't make Once Upon a Time for 4 more years, and that was with Tarantino. So, and now his next film is with Scorsese, but I don't know. Especially Apple, like I don't know, like how many people is going to watch this movie on Apple.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know, and that's what if Scorsese is in talks with both, like I'm guessing Netflix passed.
Maybe. I mean, it's always good to keep your options open, but
I'm not giving you $200 million.
No.
If I'm either one of those or any studio.
Well, I'm more likely to give you. Well, The Irishman had a huge budget too, and I would have never given him the budget for that.
Which a lot of that was supposed to be effects, though. Which
weren't that good.
It wasn't that good. But that was at least what, and it was 3.5 hours. So you're shooting longer. I don't know how much De Niro gets. I know.
We don't know how long this movie's going to be either. Because if it's on Netflix, it's probably going to be pretty long. If Scorsese. Yeah, his films are typically long anyways, in theaters. I mean, look at Silence.
I don't want to.
So I imagine this is going to be pretty long. And then look at the cast. I don't know how much either one of these go. De Niro is probably pretty expensive, but DiCaprio is probably even more expensive. So that's it.
DiCaprio's flat fee is $20 million.
Okay.
That's his contract always is.
Okay.
Like I said, unless you negotiate, like he negotiated with Once Upon a Time so it could get made. But that's also Tarantino. So, I mean, maybe he'll work it out with Scorsese since he works with those two a lot.
Maybe.
But, De Niro, I'm guessing he's probably around half, maybe 12, 13 million.
It's got to be a lot less because he makes those straight-to-DVD movies. The Red Box movie. He's made a bunch of those in recent years.
Does it for fun. So, I mean, that's your two leads, though. That's not even everybody else.
I mean, it's a period piece, too, in the 1920s. So, I mean, it's a lot of budget there making things look like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it will get made. My assumption would probably be at Netflix. But that's just where I'm like, I don't know.
He's not getting that $200 million. He can go ahead and scrap that. If Netflix gives him $200 million, like, expect to lose it.
Well, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world, I can't imagine that you would.
And you're definitely pushing the release date back if you can't start filming soon.
Yeah, right.
Because it was supposed to be end of next year?
It was supposed to be 2021. Yeah. Because they were supposed to start filming late spring of this year.
You were going to have like a November release again, something like that. So is this going to be like a Shutter Island situation where it gets a beginning of the 2022 and gets forgot about?
Oh, I can't imagine at this point.
Shutter Island, I couldn't imagine.
I think if there's any way of that happening, DiCaprio's definitely out.
Yeah, so I mean, like if you start filming later, you put it in. Oh yeah, we're getting an early January release. Like, nah, we're pushing it to the end of 2022.
I don't know. There was also another Scorsese film with DiCaprio that it was been on the pipeline for a while. It was like something to do with like he was a serial killer. the World Fair or something like that.
Sure. I don't know about that.
But I remember seeing that for years, and had never been made.
Got that commercial they made teasing a movie too.
It will be something though if it ends up going to Netflix and DiCaprio's in it, because I think that's like a big changer, seeing somebody like him, his level on a Netflix film.
I don't know. It's just I don't know what the difference is to me. Like,
the next topic I want to talk about is like last night, Taika Waititi and Mark Ruffalo, I think Tessa Thompson was on there too. I caught the very end of it. They were like watching Thor Ragnarok and doing some live commentary on it. So Taika commented a little bit on Love and Thunder, the fourth Thor film. He didn't say much, but somebody asked, would Korg find love in the film? And he said that Korg will stay single because he was deeply in love and lost that love along the line. He doesn't feel brave enough to find love again. He also added that Marvel fans will learn more about Korg's alien race, and that space sharks, creatures that appear in the comics, will appear in this film as well.
I'm excited for that.
He said that also it was like a bunch of 10-year-olds came up with ideas for the film, and they said, yeah, let's do it. Director wouldn't give any information on Christian Bale's character, but did confirm that Silver Surfer would not be in the film. He would not comment on whether Loki would appear in the film or not.
I think he also teased Hulk appearance too.
I was trying to find that in the article, and it didn't say anything about it.
I only watched it for like a minute, and I had to go to work. I'm getting tired of live streams at night though, like when I can't watch them. I do it at 7 a.m. You cowards.
Man, that'd be 4 a.m. for them.
Get up. Gotta want it, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited. More Korg, please. Space Sharks sounds awesome. I loved Ragnarok, so I'm really excited to see what he does with Love and Thunder. I
hope Korg fights Space Shark.
I just don't want Chris Hemsworth to be shoved to the side in his own film. So I hope that.
Yeah, did say Fat Thor is unlikely.
Oh, I could told you that. That's not happening.
Can't imagine. I mean, that worked in Endgame for that
right.
storyline, but yeah, he's definitely getting buff again.
I think it'd be funny maybe at the beginning. I don't know how you start the film. Do like a montage of him working out. I think that'd be funny, like a Rocky montage.
Just please play the same songs.
Him working out with Korg.
Just do it.
Well, I mean, he's got to be with the Guardians at the beginning of the film. We know the Guardians are in the film as well, so
yeah,
that would be kind of cool. I wonder too, like what his hair will be like in the fourth film. If it'll be long like it is now with Fat Thor.
A little bit short again. I like it better when it's short.
I think it'd be interesting. I think they might do it where they just keep like whatever Chris Hemsworth's hair is like at the moment. I know like in the past it's been like a little bit longer, not short like it was in Ragnarok, but like still pretty short. Let's keep it like that. Do something different.
That was what I liked the most, short hair. And when he had the helmet on, that was nice to have that throwback.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I would like to see Banner come back in the film.
What I'm wondering though, he didn't say anything. Is he going to have both of his weapons, or is he going to pass one on to Jane?
Cap took the hammer back.
He should get it back though, because like, you got to have like if she's going to be like the Thor, like who's making this weapon though?
I don't know. We'll see.
I want these questions answered in another live stream, please.
I thought that. I mean, this is I don't want to go too much into this Love and Thunder talk, but I thought that Jane Foster in the comics, doesn't she have cancer?
I read.
Like that's supposed to be part of the thing. So I don't know. Like, do you think she's surviving this movie?
I'm not sure.
Be interesting. Also still holding out that Christian Bale's playing Norman Osborn.
No, that's not happening. Um,
Um,
I don't know how much else he can lose though. Daggone. Thor ain't got nothing else, but please
bring his ex back. Dead.
let me keep something.
Um, and the last little article that I'm gonna bring up here from IMDb is can Denis Villeneuve break the curse of Frank Herbert's Dune on the big screen? Like we were reading, 70s, dude tried to make Dune,
Jodorowsky.
15 hours, huge budget, didn't happen. 80s, finally got made. David Lynch, right?
Yeah,
Made
wrong,
the film.
wrong director for that movie.
I have not seen the film. Don't care to. Um, I know some people like it, but it wasn't a success. And now Denis Villeneuve is making the film, and I think it comes out in December now. I think it was originally in November, wasn't it? They pushed it to.
18th.
They didn't push it.
Oh.
Anyways, end of the year is coming out. Will it be a critical success? I definitely think so. Will it be a box office success?
Nope.
That's another story. I don't think so. I hope it is. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. I think it's going to be more of a Blade Runner situation. I think it'll make more than Blade Runner because Blade Runner was a sequel, and I feel like people thought they needed to see the original first, and it was 3 hours, and they were like, I'm not having it. Looked weird to them, probably. You haven't seen Blade Runner 2049, go see it, or watch it. Or Blade Runner. But Dune does have Josh Brolin. It has some other big names in it as well. I think it'll be a bigger success than Blade Runner. But I don't know. Bell was talking about how they're making toys and stuff already for it, and that's a huge mistake. I don't know what you think here.
I hadn't read that, but I know I can't remember if he confirmed it or not, or if it's just what he wanted. But I want to say he confirmed it would be 2 parts.
See, I don't know. I know he wanted it 2 parts.
So
but I don't know if it's going to be.
I got that in the contract if that's what you wanted.
I don't know if it's going to be a Dune Part 1, Part 2, or if it's going to be like you're going to make your first film and end it not on a cliffhanger, but leave it open, and that way, if you want to make a sequel, you can make a sequel.
I thought he wanted 2 because he was only doing the first half of the book in this.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read the book. I don't know how it ends. If
Nobody's read the book. Nobody. But I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be like an Arrival situation where it's like a critical success, Oscar push, but I still don't know what kind of box office it's going to make.
Arrival is one of his most popular films for some reason.
It's the second best.
You are insane. I'll tell you that.
You
think that's its second? Do you think that's better than Sicario?
I don't think that. I know that.
You are insane.
Catch it on Top Shelf in a few months.
Damn.
Yeah. Sicario is his third. Well, I have not seen his foreign language films. I'm
going to call an ambulance for you.
I haven't seen his foreign language films, so I could be wrong. But other than that, his American films, second best.
You're insane. We also got a first look at Space Force this week. Did you check out those photos?
Yes.
What did you think?
I want to drop now.
I want a trailer too, so I can get a sense of what the comedy is.
No, I don't want a trailer. It's going to be parody, Office style.
I hope it's like Office style, but it looks fantastic right now.
Got a little over a month to wait.
What's that dropping on?
29th of May.
No, like what is it coming out on? Is it Apple?
I thought that was Netflix.
Is it Netflix? Okay, good.
Did you say how many episodes it is?
I don't think so.
Yep. First look at Netflix's Office replacement, Space Force.
Okay.
So we'll watch that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Doogie Howser, we're gonna reboot at Disney Plus. I know you're super excited for that.
Who cares?
You just kept texting me about it, like really excited.
Space Force is 10 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know why we're getting a Doogie Howser reboot. Don't know who asked for it. Who cares?
Nobody.
I
mean, I know it worked in its time, but I don't care. I
Makes
don't know.
it
There's so many doctor shows. I was God, man.
They're not for me.
So I remember watching House when I was younger because that was just on TV. So no choice.
Yeah, I watched a little bit, like a few episodes.
But I don't like shows like that don't have a storyline. So I'm like, nah, cancel.
Exactly.
Which I think it got one later on, but too late.
Well, you see, like a lot of shows, and maybe House did later on in the show, but a lot of shows like that with House, Grey's Anatomy, whatever. Well, Grey's Anatomy does have some storylines, but they're episodic. They have their own thing each episode. Smallville was like that too. A lot of the original seasons.
Yeah.
But they'll do that, and then like at the finale time, that's when they start getting like an actual like thing, a storyline.
Just to bring it back.
And then they go back to the same thing. That's what I like. I was a big fan of iZombie at first, but then it's like, and that worked for iZombie to begin with. But then we get to season 4 and we're still doing the same thing. I'm like, I'm bored now. I do something different. Like I thought we were getting away from this. Yeah, it ended.
Change it up.
So what else here? We had My Spy, Dave Bautista's new film, which has already been pushed back, I think, at least once.
Yeah.
Is going to Amazon now. They're not even going to do a theatrical release, which is probably best. I don't think this movie. What's that?
I'm happy about it. I wanted to see it, so I'll just catch it on Prime when it drops.
I didn't have any desire to see it. Probably wouldn't have seen it. I might see it now.
Seemed like I could enjoy it.
I never watched Stupor though either.
No, I don't want to see Stupor. I want to see this over Stupor.
That looked better than this.
Oh man, you're crazy. You're insane.
Also, there was an alternate Black Widow death scene. I don't know if this is on the Blu-ray or not because I haven't really looked through like the deleted scenes and stuff. So it might be. I just caught it on Twitter last night and thought I'd throw it in the news because.
Yeah, I don't know why it would drop now if it was.
I just thought it was a bad scene. Like you said, it's out of context because the scene starts off and
just her death.
Well, they're both being it's still her and Hawkeye, but like Thanos' people are there, and she's getting shot like multiple times. So like she's dying whether or not she jumps off or not at this point, which I think's stupid. And I don't know why she gets shot like 5 times and Hawkeye doesn't get shot any in the scene.
Nope.
And then ultimately, she ends up making it to the edge, looks back, and we see Thanos approaching the distance, which he wasn't even there at all in the film.
No.
And then she jumps to her death. Which I guess when she jumps to her death, Hawkeye gets the stone, and then he's out of there and doesn't have to deal with Thanos.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't explain anything with that.
Yeah.
It's out of context because just because you get the stone, I'm like, that doesn't make everybody else disappear.
Well, he'll go to that else world, but then I don't know what happens after that. Like, don't you come back? Because you had to take the ship.
Oh, what?
I don't know. I did not care for it. Definitely glad they cut that scene and they played out the way it did.
Yeah.
Because that's a heavy scene. I mean, it's her death in the MCU. And if it had been like this, like...
Yikes.
Yeah, yikes. Which is weird, too, because, like, I remember reading, like, them talking about it, and the writers, like, arguing, or not arguing, but, like, discussing back and forth whether or not it should be Hawkeye or Black Widow that died. And one of the female writers said, you know, like, it had to be Black Widow. Like, don't take that away from her. Like, this is her moment. So, like, I don't know. Just was not a fan.
They would have shot her 5 times. Took it away from her.
Let's see here. Keeping in the MCU, James Gunn, and I got a couple of James Gunn topics here. He was live tweeting Guardians of the Galaxy this week and was asked about Rocket's involvement in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And he confirmed that, well, and this was the scene before in Guardians before we see his scars on his back and stuff. And he said that Rocket's past will be a big part of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and that he had always planned for it to come back around. What do you think about that?
I just want the soundtrack released. Other than that, he hasn't let me down yet. So whatever he does, I'm fine with it.
I'm curious. He got that new like iPod essentially at the end of Guardians Volume 2.
Yeah, yeah, it was a Zoom.
Something like
I
that.
can't remember. It wasn't a real iPod.
Now I wonder if it'll be like music that was on that already, that when Yondu gave it to him, if
Yeah.
that'll be the music that we're supposed to hear in Guardians Volume 3, because then it might be like still older music, or will he have gotten like music when he went to Earth? Obviously, we didn't see it, but he was there for like at least a few days. So
I did see something. I can't remember where it was from. It said that he hated his time on Earth.
yeah, I just saw that
So I
today.
can't imagine he was going around to the shops,
Well, I mean, all he had to do was discover the internet.
go to a funeral.
He did go to the funeral. I forgot about. Yeah, he was at there.
I don't know.
I definitely hope. My hope would be that it would be a mix of mainly old stuff, but some new stuff, just to say because he has been on Earth. I think it'd be really cool, and what I'd like to see is if they put AC/DC on there,
Yeah.
especially because he went to the funeral and everything, and like had met Tony. And I think that'd just be like a nice little throwback. Put Back in Black or something like that on there for one of the songs.
Just get Footloose on there. I haven't heard that yet. In the Guardians movies.
I want that to be the end of the film, the end of Guardians 3.
Is Footloose still the greatest movie of all time? Oh, it never was. Like, so I mean, I haven't heard that song yet. Like, it keeps getting brought up.
Well, that's two songs I want in the film now: Footloose and either Back in Black or Shoot to Thrill.
All right, Back in Black's better.
Well, they were both in Iron Man and Iron Man 2, so it'd be cool to see. Here. I don't know what else. I don't know what modern day songs I'd want to see be in the film.
Never back. Make it work.
James Gunn also mentioned what his version of Scooby Doo 3 would have been if it had actually been made. It turns out like he was actually going to not only write Scooby Doo 3, but he was going to direct this one. The first two films he did not direct, he just wrote. But he was going to direct this one as well. It's a shame it didn't get made. But he says that the Mystery Inc. gang would go to Scotland and they'd be there to help a town that is being like invaded by monsters. But it turns out the monsters are actually victims, and that Scooby and Shaggy have to come to terms with their own narrow beliefs. Don't know what that means in terms of them, or what the story would actually be, but would have loved to seen it. I guess first film came out in 2002. I think the second one was 2004. So I'm assuming this would have been 2006. 2007. Oh man, would have been good. Would have enjoyed it.
I want a live action version of the Scooby Doo. Man, was it the Halloween one?
Zombie Island.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody?
Apparently not. Like, it's not getting made.
Like everybody I know likes that movie.
5-star film.
I have it on my Netflix. I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah.
They also made a Zombie Island sequel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch that.
Sarah's sister has it. Check it out.
Hand it over.
But yeah, I mean, if I was gonna make a Scooby Doo movie now, live action, that's what I would do. I would just start there, do an adaptation of that, and then see where it goes. Following that,
bring Matthew Lillard back. It's one and only Shaggy dude.
But I don't know. I admit I would push the boundaries on my Scooby Doo as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard R.
Not hard R. Soft R. Hard PG-13 maybe.
Mm.
Shaggy was a stoner. That's the bottom line.
Well, yeah.
We're not hiding it.
It is what it is.
I mean, that's a different topic too, but I would have loved to seen Seth Rogen do a Scooby Doo movie. Like, not, it's a little past the time now, but a couple years ago,
Yeah.
early 2010s. Oh, man, get
Missed
him in
out.
there as Shaggy, James Franco as Fred. Yes.
No, I don't see James Franco as Fred.
Him or Channing Tatum, one or the other.
Maybe a Channing Tatum, I'll be fine with.
Get Mindy Kaling as Velma.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick as Daphne.
Just give me the movie. Get Taika to direct that.
Oh man, yes, please.
He thought Jojo Rabbit was an Oscar contender. You have no idea.
Ah man, get Sam Rockwell in there too.
With that best adapted screenplay Oscar on yourself too.
Now we're moving on to Batman. A couple different things about this. So Matt Reeves came out and said the Batman will explore the Dark Knight's origins while not being an origin story. So this is not like a Batman Begins situation. My feel is that this movie is essentially take off running with the Dark Knight. This is going to be like a year into his career, or almost a year. I don't think it's going to be past that. But also, like, Tim Burton's first Batman was sort of like that too. We never got a time frame how long.
But yeah, you don't know anything about him.
Yeah, he's been there long enough that people know, but they don't really like. I don't know. Like I would say it's like the year point with the Dark Knight sort of, and I think that's where this one pick up. I think that's a smart decision. I know people get so tired of like seeing Batman's death and or his parents' death, and they keep comparing that to the Spider-Man one. But like he says in here in this article that it is essential to the character. I would like to. I don't know. Do you think we'll see his parents get killed?
I'm tired of it at this point, to be honest. Like I get it. They died.
I think Batman. I think it's Batman versus Superman did the way that I would probably do it most of the time, which is like a situation where you have it during the opening credits.
I mean, that's fine. It's like I just don't see it anymore as like a flashback. I understand. Yeah, his parents got killed.
I don't want a whole part of the film showing that, but like I don't know if it was in the opening credits and it's sort of like Batman v Superman, or Incredible Hulk, where like you have the opening credits and you see flashes of different stuff. I would probably do it like that. Maybe the Incredible Hulk way, because that way you don't even really necessarily have like footage. You just show like pictures of it happening. Maybe even do like comic books, like illustrations of it instead of actually filming or taking pictures. Or it could be a situation where he has a bad dream or a nightmare in the film. You don't show the whole thing, but like you just have him wake up after he sees both of them get shot, or like the gun go off or something like that, and you know what's happening. But I do think it should be addressed in the film. Like he should at least mention it once that, hey, my parents are dead, like they were murdered.
The only thing I would want like to see it is if like I don't know what he's doing in his trilogy, but if maybe like he thinks someone killed his parents and it turns out it was somebody else.
I hope they don't do that.
I can't imagine him doing it. Like that would be the only situation where I would want the flashback.
Well, you're talking about like a Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
I can't him doing that,
but you know, I'm glad he is paying attention, because that is one thing, and we'll talk about Spider-Man on an upcoming episode of On the Rocks in a couple weeks. But that's one thing I have a problem with the MCU Spider-Man, with like Uncle Ben's. Like I don't need to see it again, but I need you to tell me that it happened.
Or mention Ben.
Yeah, at all.
Not just on the suitcase, is initials.
Also going with Batman, Jeffrey Wright says that his version of Gordon is going to be pretty much reflective of their version of Gotham, because he was talking about like how his compared to say Gary Oldman's or other versions in the past, which the other versions, like live action, that one in the 90s was terrible of Gordon. He didn't do anything. Pat Hingle, was that his name? Something like that. No offense to him. Bad. Gary Oldman, I really liked his version of Gordon. So I'm curious what Jeffrey Wright's going to bring to it and how it's going to be different. Oh, we also had J.K. Simmons for a scene.
One scene.
But yeah, I mean, he says, how his Gordon's reflective of Gotham, but that's also like Pattinson's Batman's reflective of this version of Gotham as well. So I like what we've seen of his Batman so far, especially the Batmobile. So I'm curious what's going to happen. What else? Damo Gleason's feelings on Hux's death. So he has mixed feelings. It seems like that's what the article said, but he didn't really say he had mixed feelings. He said that he wished that Hux would have stayed alive a little longer and they could have explored the traitor aspect a little bit more in the Rise of Skywalker, guys. I forgot to mention that. Obviously, I'm assuming you guys know what I was talking about. He wished that they could have explored that a little longer, but he was like, I don't know. I guess, JJ knows what he's doing.
He must not have watched the movie if he still thinks that.
Well, then he also said, continuing on into that article, he said that he heard a little gasp in the audience when Hux died. So he was like, I guess JJ was right. I don't think the gasp was because people were enjoyed that moment.
John, he thought it was a gasp.
Yeah. Damo Gleason's a really good actor. I thought that he was a good choice to play Hux. I thought people make jokes about him, overacting and everything, and Force Awakens. That was his character. I thought he did a good job playing this Nazi first order officer that struggles with power, not being in control but wanting to be. They continued that over more into Last Jedi. I know a lot of people had even more problems with him in The Last Jedi because they made him a fool. Didn't really bother me that much, especially because by the end of it, you seeing how he was. And before Rise of Skywalker, I had read spoilers that he was going to be a traitor in the film. Of course, because I always read the spoilers.
Can't wait.
And I could see it because of his hate for Kylo. Hated how it played out, though. I mean, this whole trilogy has been teasing you that Kylo is going to lose it one day and just fucking kill Hux. Doesn't happen in the movie.
Nope, just a new guy.
Brand new guy that you brought in because people complained about Hux, and you want to make this guy replace him and be more like Tarkin.
And he murdered him.
Garbage. Just straight garbage. Just shoots him out.
No chance.
Waste of his character. Damo Gleason deserved better. Got a couple more things here. Plan B strikes a deal with WB and possibly HBO Max after being with Anna Perina Pictures for 3 years. And Plan B is Brad Pitt's production company. What do you think about those?
I'm fine with it. I haven't had a problem with Plan B Pictures, but yeah, do what you gotta do, I guess. Make whatever deal you want.
I'm not really. What have they? Do you know what they've done with Anna Perina? There in these 3 years.
Did they do 12 Years a Slave? That's where he won his Oscar.
They did 12 Years a Slave. That was more than 3 years ago, so I wasn't sure. I was wondering that.
There was something. Moonlight.
Moonlight was that? I mean, that was A24.
I think he was. I think so because I was reading something about it. I think so.
I mean, that was A24, and that was in 2016. Would have been made in 2015. So I feel like that would be before this. But they could have made that as. I mean, I don't know. It could have been a dual Anna Perina and A24.
Oh, I can just look it
up.
So the last couple ones for Plan B, it says The King, Ad Astra, Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Okay.
Vice, if Beale Street could talk.
Vice was a big one. Okay, that's that I remember being from that company.
Big Short.
And there's a few movies they got coming out soon, including Blonde. Bless you.
Sorry, Corona.
Including Blonde, which I'm really excited about Marilyn Monroe with Ana de Armas in it. It's gonna be a good one.
Tank garbage.
We'll see about the stuff being on HBO Max. But yeah, I do like his company, so good for them. And then the last thing I have to talk about here is Godzilla versus King Kong. Godzilla versus Kong, technically. There was a toy leak with a couple different toys. One was called Nuzuki, and it was a snake with wings. This is, I guess, going to be the ultimate villain of the film, but they have to team up to fight. My assumption is that this is whatever was teased at the end of King of Monsters, with the head, and they're going to create whatever this is. Unless they're saving that for another film, and this is going to be some of the monster, but I don't know why you would do that. So I don't really have much to say about that. What I do have to say about is the other leak was a Mega Kong, which goes to what I've been kind of wondering this whole time. Is like Kong is a lot shorter than Godzilla. A lot.
Yeah.
So I've been wondering, like, how are they actually going to have them have a fight and make it anywhere believable? So do you think by this title that he's going to get bigger?
Yeah, they're going to do something for him. There's also the toy with Godzilla, too. The red spikes came out of his back. Looks like it was like I don't want to say fins, but it was like his spine was out and had like red, like it looked like it was like lava or something.
Was that the Mecha Godzilla thing they were talking about?
Yeah. So I don't know if something else is going to happen with him too. Like in the last one where he got the atom bomb is what gave him all his power.
Yeah.
So just give me the movie.
I am very excited for it. Always been a fan of Godzilla. And I've liked all three of the movies they put out before this. Skull Island, I did not like when I first saw it, but when I rewatched it, I found it to be really fun. I enjoyed it. And the first Godzilla, I admired what Gareth Edwards was trying to do, making it like Jaws. It was okay. Ultimately, there was character issues for me.
That's the problem, is there's too many human characters.
Right. Well, they're not used in the right way either. Like Bryan Cranston should have been the lead in the first Godzilla.
Yeah. Sally Hawkins, 2 lines.
Yeah, she was completely wasted. And then obviously you didn't bring those people back in the second film, which I was glad because I didn't really like the characters you had after Bryan Cranston was killed. Spoiler. But then you had Kyle Chandler, which I like, but I didn't. None of the really. I remember some of them: Billy Bobby Brown, Kyle Chandler, Bradley Whitford.
Was it Vera Farmiga?
Yeah, I don't really remember. I think she doesn't make it. I want to say.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think she does sacrifice herself.
I mean, none of them really stood out. I know they are coming back though, so at least they're keeping the same characters in the next film. But really, you want to see more Godzilla. And that was part of my problem too with Skull Island, is because you had this great cast, and I don't. They partly worked, but the problem was that you have this film Skull Island, and it's in the 70s, and you know that you're going to connect them with these modern day movies, so these characters aren't going to continue into a later film. So it's like they're one and done. And you did have too many characters trying to focus on in Skull Island too. That was part of my problem the first time I watched it. Like I said, I liked it more the second time, but really it should have been just focusing mainly on like Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson is like your 2 leads, and then Samuel L. Jackson is like the antagonist, and John C. Reilly. I feel like that's like, and I guess maybe John Goodman.
Yeah.
But then you also had a bunch of other side characters in there, and it's like, But yeah, that's the last bit of movie news that I have, unless you have something you want to throw out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's happy hour this week. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode where we break down movie news and TV news for you guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.